Okay, the good old hit and run episodes that I think I've mentioned before in the past. Uh, I was driving. Actually, I wasn't driving. I was parked on the side of the road the other day. It wasn't. It was just on the side of the road, and I was looking at my phone. I was off the main path of this very small road, and looking at my phone to try to figure out where I was going on my map. Right, and I finished and I was getting ready to pull back out into traffic, and I just barely turned out a little bit, and a car was behind me, and I didn't look thoroughly, and she honked at me and that gave me a really dirty look. No big deal, right? And so she passed me, but then coincidentally, just about a minute or two later, we pull up at a stoplight together, and just because I always want to like discuss these sorts of instances with someone, I waved at her to roll down her window, and I was just gonna say, I apologize, and or did you want to say something else to me? Like, did I really take away from the ongoings of your day by accidentally stepping in front of you? This woman would not even look at me. She looked at me initially to recognize that I was trying to ask her to roll down the window, but then when she realized I was trying to talk to her, she would not roll that window down. Now, look, I've had this sort of thing happen several times before where I'm asking, I just want to have a chat with somebody, and they do not want to chat. They will honk at you, of course, from a distance, but then to actually have an interactive conversation about whatever they were peeved about is an impossibility. I'll show you some clips if I get an opportunity to videotape a couple of these scenarios here in the coming weeks. But I want to discuss this. How and why is it that people are so willing to jump on your stuff for such a minor infraction? I always think that an attitude of forgiveness and an attitude of thankfulness are things that this culture has really given a back seat to. And I think it's part of why we've got this whole, divisive thing going on. We're just willing to just pounce on somebody else for their very minor infraction. I call it the hit and run, um, because people love to, what's the saying in the Bible? Uh, God darn it, now I'm going to draw a blank on it. Um, Let vengeance be mine. God is saying, let vengeance be mine. Don't you try to execute on justice. We are not judge and jury, right? There's times when, like I've made the case too, where, I think it's worth debating something. It's worth talking about things. But to pounce on somebody and to punish them, attempt to punish them, seems a little immature and not a very productive outlet. It's in fact it's the opposite of productive. It's actually divisive. So if you're going to interact with somebody, have it be interactive and have a thorough discussion and try to get to common understanding. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was something that you misunderstood. I always say that 99% of the world's problems are not a problem of actual disagreement. They're probably just a function of sheer misunderstanding. And so the way to clear up that misunderstanding is to actually talk about it, right? Have an interaction. I think social media, cell phones, being behind the wheel of a car and the windows of a car, being isolated are all ways that eliminate interaction and eliminate the relationship building that is necessary for us to practice methods of interaction, right? And I keep beating this drum because I think it's an important drum to beat, and I think it's an absolutely necessary skill that we humans need to learn how to develop, employ. It's an art. Let's work on this art. We're all artistic, we're all creative, we all have these very deep wells of creativity and interest within us. And the only way to get those out is to learn how to communicate them with other people. Social media is an avenue, but unfortunately, I think it's an avenue that's drawing away from our real human-like instinct to practice these sort of things. So, you guys, don't hit and run, okay? If you want to be mean to somebody, don't hesitate. Have a conversation instead. it's, you know, and sometimes you can't have it. I mean, it's hard to do it on the road, so be careful out there. I'm not a proponent of, like, you know, getting yourself in dangerous situations, but sometimes, you know, see if you can roll down the window and have a polite conversation, and maybe pull over into a parking lot and just chat. Don't fight, okay? Chat, because that's what we're talking about. Interaction, healthy interaction, guys. Let's do it. Good talking to you. Talk to you soon. Bye.